Alright. Hopefully the stupid volume and everything is working good for this. Hopefully you guys actually hear shit good. Oh shit. Hopefully everything sounds good. Anyways, this one kind of literally hits close to home because we're actually, me and Rasmus over here actually live pretty close to Brooklyn. So let's see what's going on over here.
Like this one, a surge which our leaders are video. Thank you to American Financing for sponsoring
Shit
this
is like
video.
stupid loud.
Strikes at all times of the day across Brooklyn. Police say each assault is escalating, becoming more violent.
It's escalating. It's escalating.
Public safety perspective, and things just seem to be getting worse. Because over the last few weeks, there have been multiple frightening incidents, all happening one after the other, with police and investigators arriving on the scene in force, but only after everything's over. But the worst part is nobody in charge here seems to care, which makes it look like this is being allowed to happen on purpose.
You mean it looks like what? Like what? It's been years already. We know that it's been doing it on purpose. Like, what? Like look at AOC's district. If you literally look at AOC's district with all them brothels around, yeah, I think you could tell that it's done on purpose.
Exclusive video obtained by News 4 of a man wanted by police. Watch as he walks into this Brooklyn store. The guy in those squeaky clean white shoes spends several minutes hanging
In the
around
Air
before
Forces.
Police say he attacked a 60-year-old woman.
Police are asking for your help to find 3 people they say are connected
What
to
a
the
scum.
home invasion. 3 people entered the home.
What a
and
scummy
threatened the
wummy.
woman inside before stealing a safe containing around $15,000.
Police remain here on scene, focusing much of their attention at this home here behind me. They say the incident stemmed from a domestic situation involving a 49-year-old man.
There are now more burglaries, grand larcenies,
This
and
guy
false
just
thefts
taking
being
everything,
committed than there were a few
pocking
years
all
ago,
the
and
shirts.
according to the NYPD,
Yeah, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean when I keep bringing up that video of that guy in Chicago, you know, crying about, you know, all the stores keeping everything locked up and like Dunkin' Donuts, you know, putting everything behind like a glass bulletproof window and everything. It's like, dude, how can you say that when you literally have all of this shit going on? You have all these like this shit. You have people constantly coming in and robbing the place in groups. Like what else are you supposed to do? What else are you literally supposed to do?
They've been terrorizing the streets of Brooklyn for years.
But tonight, more than a dozen alleged gang members are under arrest.
You are under arrest.
Wearing tactical gear and carrying special equipment.
Things are now so out of control in Brooklyn, gangs are breaking into the sewer system for reasons the authorities have yet to figure out. But what nobody's talking about is this uptick in madness seems to be happening.
Blow me away,
because we're just a couple of months into a massive police surge taking place in our subways, which has removed a lot of police from neighborhoods like this one. A surge which our leaders are championing.
Leave me a hello,
Information's come out which conflicts with that narrative, showing that most of the gains underground have happened at the expense of our streets. And sadly, when you're using the
Dude,
train and
yesterday,
you see
before I forget, dude, yesterday I literally kept farting from the Burger King that I had. Yo, my farts kept smelling like freaking all a mare, dude.
Nah, dude.
Nah, I literally only get those farts whenever I have all a mare. So I was literally telling Alonzo, dude, I think Burger King has increased or like gotten like a new beef supplier or some shit again. Maybe the same one as All Amer. At least the one in Wanta. Cause shite.
police,
you can tell because of your farts, yeah.
Yeah. I only get those farts from All Amer.
which is what happens
And like Burger City and stuff.
to begin with. In fact,
And 20 gram cafe, like actual good places,
basically.
basically.
Reported losing over 20 officers.
Damn, dude,
who were
Burger
taken
King's
from
good.
their
Them
posts and
Whoppers,
sent
yeah,
below
most
ground.
critical would be
And
like,
prices too.
yeah, dude, like my girl got a bunch of food. It's like a $4 value for $20 value, and it was actually pretty gassed. Like, yo, Moist Critical always be hating on Burger King and has like some vendetta, and I don't get why, dude. Maybe just the Burger Kings in Florida are doo-doo. At least the ones over here are good.
We're seeing now in many parts of the city is that if you stack police in one area of town, like the subway, you
stacking
just
and hacking.
scare
'Cause
criminals
I'm
away to
whacking and
other
hacking
parts
and
of town where they
smacking.
continue
'Cause I'm
doing their
hacking and
thing.
whacking.
Which brings us
Stop.
to the real reason
Stop.
we're now
Jumping at
dealing
me.
with a crime wave in Brooklyn. There aren't any police around to do anything about it. And to make matters worse, the police we do have are so short-staffed and so handcuffed by New York
They're
City's
handcuffed?
anti-cop policies, like those that force them to fill out endless paperwork for even the most basic of interactions with the general public, that cops have a choice to make. Do they stop the crime happening in front of them, or do they let it go in the hopes that something worse takes place later and they're available to try and stop it? Well, as
Yeah,
you're
I
about
think
to
that's
see,
like the
answers
common
to those
sentiment,
questions
you
are why
know.
this entire neighborhood is now so dangerous.
I feel like that's why everybody kind of feels like they can kind of do whatever they want. Because it's like, oh, you know, I'm not killing anybody. I'm not R-wording anybody. So it's like, you know, oh, stop annoying me, even though I'm actually committing a crime or whatever, or not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and go actually stop somebody else. Like, that's literally everybody's response. Oh, I'm just doing this. Like, why don't you actually stop somebody that's actually committing a crime? Like, dude, you are actually committing a crime. That's why they stopped you over, dummy. Like, what?
Some say it's past the point of no return.
Panini is all put on us.
So here we are in downtown Brooklyn, where you essentially have a tale of two cities. You've got some
tale-
modern high-rise buildings that have pricey luxury apartments in them, and you've also got a hodgepodge of stores that nobody wants to rent out for any purpose, some of which have been vacant for years, which reveals that there's something causing a lot of problems down here, especially for stores like this one, and that problem is a growing criminal underworld.
This is exclusive video obtained by News 4 of a man wanted by police. Watch as he walks into this Brooklyn store. The guy in those squeaky clean white shoes spends several minutes hanging around before police say he attacked a 60-year-old woman near Fulton Street.
60-year-old woman,
there's
it's
a lot of
like,
crime down
yo.
here, no question about it. But
What
what's
the
most frightening is when you have individuals who aren't wearing any mask, aren't even trying to hide themselves, and they're out there just singling people out and going after them. That
Just
happens
ding-a-linging around.
by these stores. And although this might
You
not
know.
seem as wild as some of what's taken place in this neighborhood over the last few months, you know a particular area of town has reached rock bottom
Please
when
choose the
mopeds are
character,
riding on the
motherfucker.
sidewalks and when thugs
Mopeds,
prowl them
yeah.
as well. This 7-Eleven
Frickin'
appears to be the
mopeds.
store where this guy was caught on camera. Right across the street, you got these high-end luxury apartments coming in, but on both sides of the 7-Eleven, you've got stores that nobody wants to open, and that's in spite of the city trying to keep
Yeah,
this
because
place
it's just
clean,
crime,
because you
people
can spend all the
constantly
money you want
robbing
cleaning
you.
the
Why would you
sidewalks.
want
That's not
to open
gonna
a store
stop the
there?
crime problem, which our laws
So you can
do
get all
not
your
allow to be
savings and
cleaned
shit
up,
robbed.
because by not punishing people when
Within
they do
like
things
2
that
days
are
of you
wrong,
open
we
the
just
store, I'm
encourage
good.
criminals
What do you
to
think the
keep being
Starbucks
criminals.
closed? That famous Starbucks in Penn Station, whatever, because of all the crime. People loitering, using the bathrooms to, like, you know, shoot up drugs and shit.
She did not want to show her face.
I mean, what else do you expect to happen, yo? This ain't Rowena from Black Lagoon, you know? Bakiru, Koeru.
You know, she's right. That's exactly how crime works. If you encourage it, you're just gonna get
Crime?
more of it. And if you've got one criminal roaming the streets, doing whatever they want, what message does that send to other criminals who might want to follow in their footsteps? Sadly, it lets all the copycats know that the world is their oyster, so to speak, because the law-abiding are just sitting ducks to these people. And even
They're
if people
sitting
do get
cucks.
arrested, what good is it doing us when we've got massive spikes like this in repeat felony assaults? This article mentions a guy with 87 prior criminal offenses who is still somehow out on the streets roaming the subway. Ah, yes, the subway, the same place we sent all of our police to make a difference, which they're doing. But what difference does it make if so many cops are down there aren't any up here on the streets to protect businesses that might want to open up? What we're looking at here is a giant catch-22, and stacking police in one part of town isn't
Catch-27?
gonna fix it, which most people would say is the logical result of decriminalizing crime.
Because it's a sort of tight-knit neighborhood, people mobilize quickly to let friends and neighbors know, to let their children know. This is traumatizing.
Patty hopes community awareness will lead to an arrest.
It's really important.
You know, I hate to say this, but nothing encourages criminal behavior more than a legal system that arrests the same people over and over again and
Yeah.
releases them over
Like, what do you
and
think is
over
gonna
again.
happen?
This
You're just
is
teaching them that they
basically
can
the
get away
ultimate
with this shit, and
slap
you're
in
just
the
teaching them
face
how
to
to
the
not get caught.
law-abiding who aren't any safer, yet are told that by the presence of police, their lives are better off, when they aren't really. And I say that with some hesitation because obviously people are less likely to offend if there's an officer standing right there, but as soon as they
Dinner
turn their back,
reservation.
what's that criminal gonna do? Especially if they know there's no consequences coming their way. Who
Ah,
are the guys
yes. Ah, yes. Consequences.
who was caught going after people by 7-Eleven? He was on camera. He didn't seem to care, and he's still out there. Police say the problem is we've got a justice system that is essentially a revolving door and sets people loose after they commit crime. Now, if you're a cop and that's what your bosses are saying, how motivated is that going to make you to arrest this guy? He's
Yeah,
just going to
literally.
be back out on the streets, back in this 7-Eleven, which sadly is the opposite of what progressives
Alright,
tell us
dog. I'm on
decriminalization
Oblivion.
is all
I'm
about.
gonna
We're told that's all
talk to
about
the
making
lady here for a
neighborhoods
bit. Probably
safer
hop in the
and keeping
Discord a
people
little
out of
later.
jail.
Yeah, let me know,
And
'cause I'm
the
gonna hop on
exact
Oblivion soon.
opposite of that is what we're
Alright,
experiencing.
peace.
Now, I'm sure at some point this guy's going to get caught and arrested, but it's anyone's guess how long that's going to take, and what will he do between now and then? That's the real question. But even with his face and actions being caught by store security, will our justice system have the heart to follow up? One of the big controversies in our legal system is how felonies are downgraded to things like misdemeanors to make them go away and not appear as statistics. And not only is there a frighteningly strong likelihood that
Misdemeanors.
nothing happens to this guy when he gets caught, but when he gets caught, we find out that lo and behold, he's got prior infractions. He didn't
Of
get
course
this
he
way
does.
by accident, which reveals that our neighborhoods are falling apart and it's being allowed to happen on purpose. Because here we are, operating under this misguided, brain-dead idea that punishing nobody for nothing is just going to make the world a better place. And as you're about to see, this is hurting Brooklyn in ways most people haven't even considered. With everything happening in the economy, it feels like we're walking on shaky
I wonder what that
ground.
lemonade is that
Prices
he's
are
drinking.
stuck at really high levels, and it seems like nothing is affordable anymore. It's no wonder why many are relying on credit cards to cover gaps. But because of that, credit card debt is skyrocketing, and it's leaving a lot of people tapped out. But if you're a homeowner, you don't have to
Tapping
face this
out.
uncertainty alone. My friends at American Financing
Oh my God, I knew
can
this was
help
a
you
freaking
take
ad.
control. They can help you access the piece of, and they may be able to get the best of you. Call America Mortgage, pay 66889 cash.
Cash now. Cash Jordan.
So here we are in a charming little
Cash.
community with beautiful buildings like this. There's plants, there's flowers, and this community is asking its neighborhood to step up
asking
and
all
take a
them
stand against the
questions.
crime that's happening just down the street from here. But since we just learned how reporting street crime does nothing to stop criminals, some of whom get arrested multiple times and never seem to learn any lessons, nobody should be surprised when the crime here at street level goes up the stairs and enters these apartments.
Police are asking for your help to find 3 people they say are connected to a home invasion that happened back in January. 3 people entered the home and threatened a woman inside before stealing a safe containing around $15,000.
So here you've got some home invaders who were armed, went into an apartment in Brooklyn and stole money out of a safe. Now, how do you think they got the idea to go and do that? Is it conceivable that these are people who were out committing a whole bunch of decriminalized offenses and just decided that they wanted to graduate and do something else? Were they bored? By not punishing crime, you turn this city into a training ground for criminals. And you
Yeah,
take
literally what I
petty
just said a
thugs
couple
who
seconds
commit
ago.
misdemeanor offenses that they don't even
You're
think
just
are a
training
big deal
criminals how to
because
not
our
get
laws
caught.
don't, and you harden them to a point where they decide.
And you're also
breaking and
making them
entering an
feel
apartment
comfortable
is a
enough to
good
commit the
idea.
crimes because there's no
Knowing full
actual
well that the
repercussions.
no consequences environment our city has
So it's like, what are we
turned
even actually
itself
doing here?
into isn't going to stop them. And what this does is it sets people on a ladder where the crimes they commit get increasingly worse until they finally do something so bad that this happens.
Well, they've been terrorizing the streets of Brooklyn for years with guns and violence.
But tonight, more than a dozen alleged gang members are under arrest. Our Lisa Evers was there for the exclusive takedown at an early morning raid.
So a few months ago, this massive gang takedown took place, and everybody was cheering it. But the problem is, nobody was asking the right questions. Like, how did these people decide that becoming gang members was a good idea? Is it possible that since our justice system fights crime with one hand tied behind its back, that the these criminals decided to terrorize Brooklyn because there was nothing standing in their way? This is because the real problem New York has is called recidivism. Look at this. Since 2018, offenders with 3 or more arrests in a single year for the same crime, numbers are up 147%. The only lesson people are learning is how to not get arrested next time and spend a few hours in the back of a police car. We're just teaching the criminals who invade homes or rob stores or go after others that they're allowed to keep doing it.
Yeah, there's no punishment, like none at all.
Every single thing is locked up because no matter how much someone steals and how many times they get arrested, the stores know nothing's preventing them from coming back and trying again, so now it's on them. And the reason you've got gang members is because not everybody wants to steal from CVS forever and resell that stuff on the side of the street. Some people are gonna say that, hey, if I can rob one place, I can probably get away with something worse. And what happens? They try.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people start getting comfortable enough to start robbing banks. Like we've seen people already start robbing restaurants broad daylight. You know, people in their cars, people's actual homes, apartments.
Look at that. You've got half the police force out there with special equipment taking
bodegas, the mall. It doesn't matter.
We wait until criminals do something really horrible.
Like, I won't be surprised if like the next,
extra cops to go get them.
Like the next part that hits is actually like a bank, just like in LA, back in like the 80s.
Attended and unguarded, which just allows more of the same types of crime many would say are already out of control. The New York Post has a poll. Do you feel unsafe in New York City?
Very much so. Ha.
Great numbers, but this is what happens.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Cops and prosecutors by state.
You hobble them, hoggle. You gotta hodl.
If you thought it was bad enough that people get arrested and let go over and over again for the same types of crimes that are caught on camera, part of the reason this is so bad is because of what this article calls discovery law reforms that hamper prosecutors with insane
discovery
amounts of
law
paperwork
reform.
If they're going to try and charge anybody with
Sounds
anything.
like a bunch
That's
of
why so many crimes are
nonsense.
getting dropped. It's just too much work.
Well, I was born in the borough of Brooklyn, not too far from where we stand here today. I have family that lives here. There's a profound impact on the community when you see the worst of the worst being apprehended and placed in jail. There's a lot.
You know, I feel for these police. They should definitely be proud of taking down violent criminals like this, but the problem is they're fighting a system that created those criminals. And their battle to keep this city safe is a losing one. How do you beat a system that just rewards unpredictable bad behavior? You don't. And if we're just gonna tell criminals that their actions are not a big deal, you know whose fault crime is gonna be? The law-abiding. It's gonna be their fault that bad things happen.
Halt!
Because we're telling
You violated the law. You must pay a fine or forfeit all of your
Does
stolen goods.
decriminalization help? That's an honest question. I can only think of two groups. The
That's who we
criminals
need right now,
and the
taking
people
care
who
of this
vote for
shit.
Policies like this because they feel guilty for some reason, or they've been tricked into thinking that if somebody
Except
finds
minus
themselves
the
in
pay a
jail,
fine
it's
part.
society's
You
fault,
actually
not
just should
criminals.
have
And this is
all
astounding
goods.
because with 70%
Of your
people
stolen
being
goods.
rearrested for a felony after committing some other type of crime, all this does is prove that if those folks had lost their freedom after their first arrest, 100% of their repeat offenses never would have happened. But the truly frightening thing here are charts like this that show major types of crime that people really care about all higher than they used to be. And this is happening in a very short period of time. But the real problem is as we dig and search for the root causes of crime, when we see actual crime, we don't do anything about it because we don't think it's the problem.
Yeah, we just let it marinate and try to play like the high horse and grandstanding and virtue signaling. And then when the crime keeps getting worse, it's like, oh, sorry, we made a fucky wucky.
Lessons, or is it unreasonable to assume that you could stop 100% of repeat offenses by putting people in jail the first time they do something wrong? Let me know.
Yeah, literally.
Thank you so much for watching.
It's not that hard.
See you in the next video.
You commit a crime, you should do the time. Alright, let's see what's the. Well, let's just check this out. This is the main thing that I wanted to check out in this video. Oh man.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Well, look,
This should be fun.
Over the last few days.
Why?
Death.
Oh.
People. Death. Death. Death.
Death, just all dying, just murder.
Death.
There has been a murder.
To pick anyone, white South Africans
It's terrible.
are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws and this is all. I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Just look at this. White South African couple say.
So what would I like to
they
do?
were attacked violently.
President Trump, why don't you go and see for yourself if it is indeed true?
Well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white.
So President Trump is confronting the South African president with articles, and he even showed him a video.
He literally brought
of
the
some
car.
of the stuff that's taking place in that country right now. And the South African president.
Like he literally whipped out the Carfax, the receipts. You know, he's like receipts, bro, receipts.
The family of white farmers.
He's showing a video.
Aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
He's never seen this.
He's never seen this. Of course, they never know. They never know. Oh shit. They never know. They can never see. They had no idea. You know, even though it was right up their ass, they just never know. They just never know what's going on. It's like, oh, whoops, honky dory. Oops, sorry. Made a fucky wacky. Oh, sorry. It's crazy.
Okay. I mean, it's in South Africa. That's where.
We need to find out.
I mean, this is just unbelievable. However, what I think is admirable about this is it is not this, hey, your country's terrible, look at what you're doing, you're being so bad. He's saying, look, this is evidence of a big problem. What are you gonna do about it?
I just thought that's what I did about him.
Bad reporter.
You're such a bad reporter. Yo, Trump is fucking. Yo, this guy's literally the content president, as Asman would say. Oh man, that's hilarious, yo. That's actually hilarious. Oh man. Can you imagine, dude? Look at him. He's just like, his face is just like, I can't believe this is going on right now.
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what it is. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, hold on. Isn't this like some of the people? Oh, like especially like the white people, aren't they getting kicked out and like aren't they now having to be like, you know, refugees or whatnot? They literally had to like ask basically Trump to let them be. Well, Trump offered them, if I'm not mistaken, refugee, and they declined it. But now they're asking for, like, now they're accepting the offer because they're being kicked out, you know, basically, and persecuted.
It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous look. This is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are. And you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable member,
want to do, you can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable.
That it's like you're saying that, and then once you start getting attacked back, you know, oh God.
Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared.
Okay, I think you understand This video was played on the screen in the White House in front of all of the press and in front of the South African president. He's going to have to address this at some point, but he is not screaming at the South African president. He's just showing the evidence. He's putting it on the table.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah,
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves. Political parties.
Yes, it does.
Adhere to various policies.
It's always people just expressing themselves.
Those policies do not go
doing
along
terrorist
with
terrorist
government
actions, but you know they're
Our
expressing
government
themselves.
Policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our
There are too many minorities at my water park, because even the authorities are minorities at my water park.
Nothing happens to them.
No, there is
Nothing happens to
There
them.
is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilizing.
The farmers are not black.
We
I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally one of the worst.
Oh my god, he just never misses the album. I mean, hey, he deserves it, dude. They tried to bash him, they tried to silence him and everything, so he deserves to have the right to talk doo-doo. Just like they were talking doo-doo about him these last couple of years, and he couldn't even fight back. He couldn't even, you know, defend himself on the interwebs. So.
NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk.
Fake news! Like this jike.
Reporters, they'd be covering it, but the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that.
Well, they're going to be talking about it now, and part of solving the
100%.
problem is talking about it. If you don't bring something like this up at an opportunity like this, when the cameras of the world are watching, how is anybody going to get justice?
Talk about it, but now they have to talk about it, but they won't.
They have to.
This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out, because
Oh man, I can't believe he's bringing that
Air
up.
Force One until our sets Air Force
The
One
left's
is being
losing their
built.
mind because Qatar gave the U.S. Air Force a plane. They tried accusing Trump, making it seem like he was going to be the one using it for personal. After the president, what was it, clown? Like if he does it,
I'm sorry, I don't
then
have
that's
a
one
plane
thing.
to give you.
But my man is still the president. He's got a whole nother 3 years. You know, he's got a whole 3 years too early to bitch.
I would take it.
Okay.
Bitch after if he actually even does do it.
Which I really would
Not
like us to
before.
talk about.
Because then you're just going to
He's
incite him
letting
to actually do it.
talk. He's letting him make jokes. He's not treating him like the enemy. He's treating him like the one person on this planet that can come up with a solution to the crisis going over there.
Yeah,
And
he
hey,
kind of
people say
is.
Trump's not a politician. They say he's not well-mannered like President Obama used
Businessmen
to be. But I think
to a
this is
certain
probably
to a
as
certain
well-mannered
extent
as
are
we're gonna
good
get over this
politicians
subject.
or are
We'll
politicians.
talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table
Like
and
this.
talk about them.
Well, there are
Yeah, like
This
that.
is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters.
Oh, toilet paper.
The issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all recent.
And
Those are all deaths.
yeah, in many ways,
Those are all
one
deaths.
should say you are a partner,
Oh, man.
partner of South Africa.
He's not even
and that
acknowledging
you're
it, he
raising
just took it and
concerns.
put it
these
all
are
neatly together.
concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the
Well, at least in my opinion, this is better than that press conference with the Prime Minister of freaking Canada, yo. My man literally just sat there the whole time and Trump just spoke over him. At least this guy is actually, you know, You know, he can actually speak for himself. You know, he actually speaks. He has a voice.
Experience in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify with.
And now he's giving away the paperwork. Holding on to that paperwork for a long period of time in front of the cameras is a bad optic for any politician. But what's fascinating about this, here's another angle of the room, and we have Elon Musk right
Elon,
here.
dude.
He's from South Africa. But for some reason, people are upset that refugees from South Africa are being granted residency in the United States after everything we just looked at.
Now, this week, a group of 59 white South Africans arrived in the US, where they've been granted refugee status. President Donald Trump says the refugee applications were expedited because they're victims of racial discrimination. The South African government denies this. Afrikaners settled in South Africa nearly 4 centuries ago and led the apartheid movement there. Usually it takes years for the government to process refugees. This group waited just 3 months. Let's go to our North America correspondent, Namia.
I mean, to be fair, they are actually refugees.
To one of these men.
If you want your
Because
own
they're
South Africa,
actually.
You're a land thief. You are a racist. The whole time it's being told, and there is racist white people, plenty of them.
You say you're not a racist white person?
No, not at all. I've got many black friends. I think I've got more African black men as friends as white friends. I'm tired of being told just because I'm white, I'm a thief. Just because I'm white, I'm wrong in this. I had nothing to do with apartheid. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Is there anything specific that's happened?
That's a pretty big point.
To be
that
fair,
he brings
they
up. The
are
idea that
refugees.
He's somehow responsible for wrongs that he didn't have anything to do with, and that he is now being held responsible for that and is a criminal because of it. That's pretty tough. My wife is Japanese, and you know what? People from Japan today are not the same people who lived in Japan 80 years ago. Same thing with people from Germany.
Yeah,
the people
clearly.
in Germany today are not the same people that were living in Germany 80
thank the Lord.
years ago. And the whole reason you have a lot of the problems that you're seeing in South Africa, and even problems in countries like modern day America, is because this idea of forgiveness and national unity, we're being told we can't have that superficial things.
Yeah, it's like bad to
divide
have.
people and contribute to this. And
Like I
that's
said,
a real shame,
exactly what
but
I've been
the real
saying.
question
You're either
is,
with
what do
me
you
or
think?
against me type
Thank
of
you so much
mentality.
for
It's like so like toxic, and it needs to end, man. Like, we do need to have unity. Oh man, it's like people won't accept the unity unless you're on their side, which is that's that's not gonna happen right now. People just need to learn how to compromise, because and stop that mentality where it's like, oh, just because you disagree with me, you're the enemy, and I hate you now. I have to hate you. Like, it's kind of annoying. Anyways, thanks for stopping by in another video. Hopefully the sound is much better in this one. And again, thanks for the love and support. Make sure to check out my Twitch channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and peace. I'll catch you guys in the next video.